Welcome to the Toastmasters Experience. My name is Evelyn. Get inspired by today's Toastmasters Insights. Enjoy the show. And welcome to another episode of the Toastmasters Experience. I'm very excited and privileged to have on my episode today, Dale Rees-Bevan. I'd like to welcome Dale to the Toastmasters Experience.
Hi, Evelyn.
Oh, it's so good to have you here. Now, we're going to just start at the beginning. What motivated you to join Toastmasters? What clubs do you currently belong to? And how long have you been a member?
I did a youth leadership program when I was a teenager at school and absolutely loved it. Became addicted to public speaking. So when I went to university in Cape Town, South Africa, I joined the Toastmasters Club there. I've been a member in many clubs, both in South Africa and then in London, and then when I moved to Australia. So currently I'm a member of Jural Toastmasters in District 90, Stage Time Toastmasters in District 70, and Keystone Toastmasters in Canada, District 64.
Since you started so young, what was the most challenging aspect of public speaking for you, or did you feel like you just grew into it?
I think I enjoyed it from that very beginning, from that early exposure to it. I think I have always struggled with nerves. I've always found it a pretty terrifying experience, but I think you become addicted to it the same way you get addicted to roller coaster rides and the adrenaline rush. I just embraced it and enjoyed it. I think I'm starting to get to a point where I'm becoming more and more relaxed, and I think it's a double-edged sword. I think sometimes you can become too relaxed and possibly even complacent. I think it's finding that balance between excitement and still getting the buzz, but not letting the nerves overtake you to impede your performance.
What tips would you give for overcoming this sort of nervousness? Do you have a routine or something that you practice?
I think that really knowing your material is important. For me, a tipping point, I think, was when I started developing materials and content that I was really proud of. And I was excited about sharing that with the audience, truly believing that this was going to be valuable and make a difference to people listening to it. And I think when you get to that point that you've created something or curated information that is a game changer, I think then you embrace the excitement that your audience is about to be treated to something that is truly valuable, and it ceases to be about you. It ceases to be about how you're feeling. It's simply, let's go share this. You know, a little bit like if you know you've made an amazing meal and it tastes divine. You just can't wait for people to get stuck in and experience it the way you have when you were cooking it in the kitchen.
What made you decide that you wanted to go the professional route of speaking? Was it fairly early on when you first joined Toastmasters?
Yes, it was. I ran a few public speaking programs at the school where I was teaching, and then the staff actually approached me and asked me if I'd run some courses for them. They noticed that the students were really benefiting and the difference that it made to their confidence. So I think they wanted a little bit of what was going around. So they asked me to put a program together, and I did. And that was the start of the bug. I realized that I enjoyed that a lot more than just teaching. And when we moved to the UK, I met some people who were involved in presenting and speaking. An amazing woman by the name of Sue Warner had set up Speakers Bank. which was delivering public speaking training to not-for-profit organizations. And I got involved there and managed to work with her and with the organization for a few years, getting grants and running programs in schools. And yeah, it just kind of snowballed from there.
And when you were in the UK, were you involved in a Toastmasters club?
I was a member of Holborn Speakers, and I think the other one was called London Communicators. It's so
No.
long ago. I think those were the two clubs I was involved with.
Okay. And so you've always gone back to Toastmasters, even though you've been a professional speaker and teacher, facilitator during this time. Is that correct?
That's right. And I did actually take a little bit of a break when we moved to London. I'd sort of felt that I'd had enough for a while, and then discovered that London's quite a lonely place when you're new there. And Toastmasters is a great way to create an instant network and family. So for us, it was a way of meeting people and making new friends, and we're still in contact with a few of them. So yeah, it was a great experience.
Yeah. So what is something that you've learned from Toastmasters, either professionally or personally, that has surprised you?
One of the things that I've always appreciated about Toastmasters is watching people develop and realizing that they haven't just become better communicators. And this sounds very judgmental, and I think it applies to me just as much as anyone else. But I think we become better people. I think we become more compassionate, more encouraging, more tolerant. And I find that I don't think that's anywhere actually in the mission statement, but it seems to be a byproduct of the program. And I don't know whether that's surprising, if that fits your question, but I think that's one of the wonders of the Toastmasters program for me.
At last year's convention in the Bahamas, you were awarded as an accredited speaker. Can you let the listeners know a little bit about that?
Sure. So the Accredited Speaker Program is a designation conferred by Toastmasters on professional speakers who they feel represent the Toastmasters brand or level of speaking that they're willing to endorse. It's a very meaningful award for anyone in the professional speaking arena, and it's wonderful to get that stamp of approval, if you like.
Hmm.
It's a program that looks at what you've done in terms of professional speaking. So you have to provide evidence of having delivered a certain number of speaking engagements. And they will also look at your video footage of one of your speaking engagements. And then if you pass that level one, then you get invited to the convention to present. And at that point, other professional speakers who already have the accredited speaker designation will decide whether they want to make you one of their number or not. And interestingly, one of the questions that they're asked on the judging form is, would you like to share a platform with this speaker? So
Oh,
basically, they're saying if you were all speaking at a conference, would you want to be on the same billing as this person? Which I think is an interesting way of determining the caliber that they think you're at.
now what made you decide that you wanted to pursue this accredited speaker path? Was it something that all professional speakers want to attain to, or was it just something you really wanted to do?
I think it's one of those because it's there questions. Why climb the mountain? Because
Hmm.
it's there. I think it's nice to be recognized for your efforts and your achievements, and it's a way of honoring Toastmasters. I mean, I wouldn't be a professional speaker if it weren't for Toastmasters, if I hadn't gotten involved in at such an early age and loved it so much. So, in a way, it's also saying thank you for giving me a career and look what I've done with it.
Yeah, no, that's fantastic. Now, is there a limit on how many times that you can apply for this accreditation?
I don't think there's a limit, but I'm not 100% sure on that. I do know some people who have tried a few times. One of the things that you do when you apply for the level one is you have to get 5 clients to send in letters of recommendation for you, and those letters are valid, I think, for 3 years.
Hmm.
So if you apply and you get knocked back and you try again, you've got to do it within the next couple of years. Otherwise, you've got to go back to the drawing board and get a whole new
Hmm.
set of recommendations. I think you can keep applying for as long as you like, maybe. I don't know what the limit
Yeah.
is.
And how many times have you applied?
So I applied once in 2022 and I didn't pass level one. And then I tried again in 23 and I did pass. And then I was successful at level two as well.
I'm assuming that is level two when you get to the
Yeah.
convention.
Yes,
So
yes,
you don't find out till after your presentation. Is that
that's
correct?
right. That's right. The presentation is the make or break. So yeah, not everyone passes at the level two.
So have in the past other level twos who've not made it gone back the next year and made it? Do people actually tend to do that?
Yes, yes. I think we saw Lauren Parsons get her accredited speaker designation this year, and I think 2 or 3 years ago she presented virtually, and I understand she was ill at the time, so it didn't go as well as it should have.
Hmm.
She didn't make the level two then, but she went back and did it in person and
Yes.
nailed it.
Yeah, she
So
did. She nailed it. She was amazing. She was
yeah,
absolutely amazing. I mean, I think it takes so much for you to go back. And I know that you
yeah.
didn't last year or the year before when you, I guess, didn't make the level one. You went back. You just went for it. And because it probably would be a bit, oh God, forget it. That's just too much work. I don't want to do this anymore. But you kept going back. So that's a
Yeah.
testament to people who want this accreditation. Now, something
Yeah.
else that you're going to be involved with is coming this weekend. Just tell me a little bit about it.
So it's an event organized by, I understand, the World Travelers Toastmasters as a tribute to the Centennial of Toastmasters. They've organized this event, which is going to be essentially a Toastmasters meeting that runs for 20 hours, starting in Auckland and rolling all around the world and ending in Hawaii. There are 9 teams, I believe, of about 8 speakers each, and they've invited accredited speakers, past international directors, past regional directors, past world champions. All sorts of people have been invited to present a 5 to 7 minute speech, and they'll run these in teams. And as I say, keep it going for 20 hours.
And I think you said you're number one. Is that correct?
I'm actually the second speaker on the
Okay,
program.
okay, okay. You're number one in my eye, anyways. But
Ah!
okay, so you're the second speaker. Fantastic.
Yeah.
So what? I'll put a link in the show notes for that, and for Toastmasters who or anybody. So it's open up to anyone. Is that correct?
Oh, absolutely.
Okay, and it's just a link, and it's all on Zoom.
That's right. I'll send you the link after our conversation, and you can pop that in.
Dale, it's been such a pleasure speaking to you because I had no idea of your story, how you were first inspired by joining at 14 years of age, the youth leadership, where you became aware of it. And that, I think that goes to show that gavel clubs and Toastmasters events that do focus on the youth really can spark them to have a speaking career like later on in their lives. And I think
Mm.
it's something that this world sort of needs right now because communication has totally changed. And on that note, I want to ask this question. What does communication mean to you?
On a surface level, communication is the effective transfer of a message from one entity to another. On a more meaningful or deeper level, when we're talking about presenting or public speaking or communicating between two people, I think it's about connection. Do you get the whole impact of where I'm coming from, why I'm saying it this way? Is it moving you? Is it something you can relate to? Then I think real communication has taken place.
What is a common public speaking error?
I think one of the biggest mistakes we often make is writing our speeches out and learning a script from written language, which is very different from spoken language. And on top of that, I think in Toastmasters, we make a huge mistake in focusing on performance rather than connection.
Yeah.
We're so busy choreographing and dramatizing what we're saying instead of being authentic, being ourselves, and really speaking to the people we're in front of.
So Toastmasters seems to have opened this whole new world for you. What are other activities that you've done that have benefited communication or speech?
One of the projects that I've got an enormous amount of satisfaction from was starting Chatter Camp, which I did 10, 12 years ago. My husband and I were very keen on getting our son to increase his confidence, and I've always had this dream of having a boot camp for kids. And we set up Chatter Camp, and one of the most exciting things to see through that was a young girl who attended and then became one of our junior leaders, then a senior leader, and then we got her involved in becoming a trainer for Chatter Camp. So she was there for a number of years. And in her final year of school, she applied to university, and on the basis of her experience with Chattercamp and her leadership there, managed to get early entry to a university program, which she said she didn't think she would have qualified for, but because of her leadership experience, they gave her a place on the course. And I don't think she's going to grow up to become a professional speaker or use it in other spheres, other than being a confident and competent communicator. But just to think that a program like that could give her that leg up and that opportunity was just so exciting. I think you just never know the impact that you're going to have through getting involved with these types of things.
Actually, one thing I want to just go back to, you were speaking about this young lady learning the leadership. Now, that is something a lot of people don't really know about Toastmasters is the leadership opportunities. Have you had different leadership roles within Toastmasters?
I have. So I've served on the club committee numerous times. I'm almost permanently a committee member, and very happy to do so. I'm currently the TLI chair for District 90. So I've taken over the club leadership training portfolio, which is also very exciting. And I've been an area director.
Oh, wow. And do you plan to go like higher up, being the one of the district trios or anything like that? Have you thought about that?
No.
Okay. Okay. That's a definite no. I think we all know our limits. So you've given so much to the organization. Dale, what has been one of your biggest highlights in Toastmasters?
I've had so many. I mean, the accredited speaker, being in the Bahamas, having people respond so amazingly, that was wonderful. Funnily enough, one of my fondest memories was competing in the UK in a humorous speech contest. It was an area contest, and I actually got disqualified on time. I wasn't that experienced, but people were laughing so hard and so long at what I was saying that I actually didn't care about being disqualified. I was so amazed that I could get that kind of response from an audience. And it was a big crowd. It was a really, back in the day when people attended area contests enthusiastically, it was a lot of people and the room was just howling with laughter. And I remember just getting that sense of amazement. Oh my gosh, I can make people laugh. So I was a winner in my mind.
Oh no, you're always a winner. Now, but I know that you competed in Vancouver. Tell us a little bit about that. That must have been a highlight for sure.
That was, yeah, I loved it. I loved the whole experience. Looking back now, oh my gosh, I do things so differently. And I also recognize how much I've grown as a speaker since then, which is exciting. You sort of reach a level and you think, yay, I've arrived. This is as good as it gets, winning a district final. But then I think that was actually only the starting point for me. I think I've really leveled up so much. I can feel it in myself since then. So yeah, it was good. It was good, but I'd love to be able to go back and redo a lot of the things I did.
What advice would you give someone who is considering joining Toastmasters?
Don't delay.
Do it today, yes.
Absolutely. I just think there are so many dimensions to your life that you can benefit from. And I think one of the things is we join because we want to improve our speaking. I think something every human being can do much, much better is listen. And I think there's a fantastic opportunity to learn to pay attention to people speaking, and just from the social aspect, going to conferences and connecting with people there, and learn to be a better listener.
Yeah, there's so much that you learn within Toastmasters. It's been such a pleasure having you on the Toastmasters Experience. Thank you so much. And I'm going to post the show before the event. So the event is this Saturday, the 19th of October. And what time does it kick off?
I believe it's 1:00 Sydney time.
1:00 Sydney time. So I will include that link in the show notes for this particular episode. And yes, everyone who's listening out there, please join in on this World Travelers event. 20 hours nonstop of public speaking. I'm exhausted just thinking about that. Thanks again. Thank you so much, Dale. Thank you so much for your company. Please tune in next time to the Toastmasters Experience.